comes the... Oh, here comes the greatest SEAL warrior alive!
El gusto es mío.
Tu equipo está bloqueando a un héroe.
Soy Jin, y siempre lo seré, pase lo que pase.
El enemigo está bloqueando a un héroe.
Solo el amor.
Es hora de
Tu
ir
equipo
a
está
el
bloqueando
sitio a
un héroe.
divertirse.
No curo el dolor.
El enemigo
Lo
está
aprovecho.
seleccionando.
Para mí,
Por favor,
la diversión
selecciona
es
un
lo
héroe.
único que importa.
I break boundaries.
El enemigo está seleccionando.
¡Mis puños son inquebrantables!
Por favor, selecciona un héroe.
¡Rodemos!
Espero que sean más fuertes que yo.
El amor y la esperanza son
El
los
enemigo
dos
está
mayores
seleccionando.
inventos.
¡El fuego de la batalla nunca se extingue!
Tu
Un
equipo está
corazón de
seleccionando.
luz. Por eso no temo a la oscuridad. Las lágrimas nunca mancharán las arenas de Aquelta.
Bienvenido a Mobile Legends. Estamos 5 segundos hasta que el enemigo llegue al campo de batalla. ¡Aplástalos! Todas las tropas desplegadas. ¡Ataquen! ¡Retirada!
El doctor me llama
¡Ataquen!
pero no puedo volar. Mantente alegre todos los días.
Primera sangre.
Titicaca, las cuerdas de mi títere se enredaron. ¿Puedes ayudarme con eso? Deja de mirarme. Cuidado con los problemas del cuello.
Ha sido asesinado.
¡Abracadabra! ¡Sigue sonriendo! Puedo hacer todas las tareas del hogar, excepto cocinar. ¡Hey, ja!
Un aliado ha sido asesinado. Necesito refuerzos. ¡Ataquen!
Mi trabajo es ayudar a la gente.
Ha sido asesinado.
¿Dónde está mi papá?
El enemigo ha asesinado a la tortuga.
Sigue sonriendo. Es importante.
Un aliado ha sido asesinado. ¡Racha enemiga!
¡Hey, ja! Mantente de buen humor todos los días. Deja de mirarme. Cuidado con los problemas del cuello. ¡Hey, ja!
¡Mega asesinato enemigo!
Papi, papi, pum. ¡Hey, ja! ¡Sigue sonriendo!
¡Retirada! Asesinato doble enemigo.
Mamá, Ángel. Mantente de buen humor todos los días.
Un enemigo ha sido asesinado. El enemigo es casi un dios.
Papi, papi, pum. ¡Hey, ja! ¡Hey, ja!
Enemigo legendario. El enemigo ha asesinado a la tortuga.
tareas del hogar.
Nuestra torre ha sido destruida.
Kikikaka,
Nuestra
las
torre
cuerdas de
está
mi
bajo
títere se
ataque.
enredaron. ¿Puedes ayudarme con eso?
Un aliado ha sido asesinado. Nuestra torre está bajo ataque.
Sigue sonriendo. ¡Ja! Mi trabajo es
Enemigo
ayudar.
retirado. Asesinato doble enemigo. Un aliado ha sido asesinado. Nuestra torre ha sido destruida.
El doctor
Nuestra
me
torre
dio
está bajo
refuerzos,
ataque.
pero no puedo volar. Sigue sonriendo. Es importante.
¡Enemigo legendario! Mi enemigo ha sido asesinado.
Mi papá.
Finalizado. Nuestra torre ha sido destruida.
Mantente alegre todos los días.
Nuestra torre está bajo ataque. Un aliado ha sido asesinado. El enemigo ha asesinado a la tortuga.
Papi, papi, pum. Hey, ja.
¡Racha enemiga! Ha sido asesinado.
El doctor me llama Ángel.
Un enemigo ha sido asesinado. Nuestra torre está bajo ataque. Nuestra torre ha sido destruida.
Mantente de buen humor.
Un aliado ha sido asesinado. ¡Racha enemiga!
Mi trabajo es ayudar a la gente.
Un enemigo ha sido asesinado.
Estamos atrasados en oro.
Hey, ja. Kikikaka, las cuerdas de mi títere se enredaron. ¿Puedes? Papi, papi, pum.
Un aliado ha sido asesinado. Asesinato doble enemigo.
¿Dónde está mi papá?
Mega asesinato enemigo. Un aliado ha sido asesinado. Enemigo invencible. Nuestra torre ha sido destruida. Nuestra torre está bajo ataque. Nuestra torre ha sido destruida. Ha sido asesinato enemigo. Nuestro inhibidor está bajo ataque. El enemigo ha asesinado al Lord.
Puedo hacer todas las tareas del hogar.
Nuestro inhibidor está bajo ataque.
Cocinar.
¡Enemigo invencible! ¡El enemigo es casi un dios! Nuestro inhibidor está bajo ataque. Nuestra torre ha sido destruida. Nuestra base está bajo ataque. Nuestro inhibidor está bajo ataque.
Derrota.
Away from the squishier heroes.
Yep, arguably, I would say Team Malaysia and Team Philippines are pretty much the only team that has very, very similar playstyles when it comes to their jungle priorities. It feels like this is going to be the Archive being played by Chiku, I guess, coming from Team Malaysia, trying to replicate it from Team Philippines, but I feel like it is very doable against the Link because one heavy spin comes in, you get a very nice lockdown, the Link is pretty much done for.
Malaysia gonna be following up the second phase of bans by getting rid of the Dirov. An interesting choice here, which leads me to believe that they are going for a hero such as the Esmeralda in the EXP lane, a common counter to the Dirov being a common counter to these types of heroes. Malaysia probably setting things up to have a better time in the EXP lane because nowadays getting control in that lane is very important.
Oh, beautiful read coming from Team Myanmar. They know this is going to be a standard pickup as well. Showing their hands a little bit too much means that Team Malaysia, they are going to be opting to go for something else. However, 4Maze has been known to have a big variety of XP laners when it comes to going for this kind of pickup. So I'm a little bit curious here on what he is going to go. Paquito is something that is really, really good to deal with the compositions of Team Myanmar because of the one-shot potential. So one wrong move, you are going to get completely chain CC'd.
I think there's also a hero that we have not seen yet throughout the entire day here that 4Maze is very comfortable in playing, the Yu Zong, to be a very solid counter again to the real world manipulation and a solid frontliner for teamfight.
Yep, what's really surprising as well, at the start of the day, we did see Masha being banned throughout the entirety of the game as well. And of course, I agree that Yu Zong is something that he is capable of playing. However, need I remind you as well, when it comes to an XP late matchup, I feel like Masha will have a little bit more the struggle against the Yu Zong. But as soon as I say it, Team Myanmar, they don't want to deal with it. So that means, like you said as well, the Yu Zong may be up for consideration for Team Malaysia to go in for the Wombo combo if they decide to do so as of yet.
As of right now, based on the team lineup that Team Malaysia has already drafted, we don't actually know for sure if this is a roam or a jungle Akai.
Yeah, agreed.
The question is whether or not Malaysia will continue keeping this secret. Will they lock in for Maze's hero early on? Or keep things more private until later?
Oh no, I smell something else. I feel like potentially the Fanny pickup coming from Malaysia is going to be very possible, considering that Zorn doesn't have the options to go for both the Akai or even a Fanny if they decide to go for it. But seems like Team Malaysia, they will double down on the Paquito. Seems like that is going to be the matchup that he thinks that is going to be the better one against the Link in terms of jungle rotation, where this, like you said as well, is going to be the roaming Akai coming from Team Malaysia.
But we don't actually know that for sure. Team Malaysia, they have this trend of trying to keep their draft as secret as possible until the very end.
Exactly.
Yes, this seems like it would be a jungle Paquito, but it's also possible that it's still an EXP lane Paquito, and Team Malaysia might be using this to try and bait out Myanmar to have an EXP lane hero that does well against the Paquito, but not against what Team Malaysia actually wants to draft.
Well, it seems like, as you predicted as well, the Yuzhong will be selected from the side of Team Myanmar to go in for the AoE control. I would say both teams have a very, very balanced drop throughout this entire fight. However, now, the final pick of the side of Team Malaysia, the XP matchup against Yuzhong, is Formé is going to be going for the Uranus, or is he going to be forced to play something else, considering that the Marsha as well as the Esmeralda has been taken out of the equation? I would say 4 out of all the most majority XP heroes from Myanmar has been taken out. But okay, it looks like I'm going to be taking it back. They are going to flex the Paquito in towards the XP lane, and they are going to double down on the jungle Akai.
And they're going to be locking in the Franco for Zorn as well. Another hero he's quite comfortable with. Team Malaysia going to be playing a more pick-off heavy skirmish style of lineup, whereas the side of Team Myanmar is going to have a very, very scary team fight lineup playing around the real-world manipulation and Black Dragon form to set up space for the Ling and Claude. This is going to be an important game for both these teams to set themselves up in a better position in Group A.
Agreed. 2 nations, 1 victory. The decider of this series is going to be having 1 up against each other for group number A. Who's it going to be? Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be Team Myanmar on the blue side and Team Malaysia on the red side. And seeing how things is going to be happening as well, seems like the flexibility of the drafts from the side Team Malaysia has kept Team Myanmar a little bit wandering towards the stage of the game. However, in terms of ballpark as well, seems like the Ling is going to be having a little bit of an upper edge when it comes to macro cross-map plays.
Interestingly enough, Zorn is going to be electing to poke out Oh My Jenny early on in the lane instead of trying to pull the purple buff.
Well, it seems like that is going to be the case as well. We do see a little bit of the invades coming in from Team Malaysia. Seems like there is going to be a little bit of skirmish. You can see Team Myanmar, they are going to force the issue. Zorn is going to buy a little bit more time, and Team Myanmar, they're heading in towards enemy territory. The big Sanguine Claw comes in, and you can see Chico is going to be looking for the punish against that. Unfortunately, doesn't seem to be able to get the kill. However, they will settle down with taking Benno instead. So that is going to be first blood in the hands of Team Malaysia. Beautiful baits coming in from Team Malaysia. However, look at this. Zorn, he's not opting to go back anytime soon, knowing that PS may look to challenge the jungle objectives of an Akai, which arguably does have a weaker objective clear compared to PS.
Yeah, so far Team Malaysia has been having a pretty solid early game. They know that they have the tankier heroes by far, so they are able to make more aggressive movements, and they're able to take first blood against Myanmar. That's not too big of a deal yet at this point in the game, only a slight net worth lead, but you can expect them to continue making these sorts of plays.
Well, Team Myanmar, a little bit hesitant on going for the play. As soon as they saw Chiku showing himself, they immediately backed off and respect that, hey, there's no point contesting this wall. Chiku's level 4, they've got the Hurricane Dance. They can look to be punished. And look at this, seems like Chiku is going to be making the play, but no, looks like he doesn't want to go for it. This is not the target that Team Malaysia is eyeing for as well. It's only a support. They want a bigger fish.
Yeah, they want to try and see if they can pick off PS because they want to contest the turtle Iron Hook. Going to miss. And now Black going to be setting things up. Gets hit with the knockout strike from Formaze. And Malaysia knows that they didn't get the ideal initiation they were looking for. So they're going to reset the turtle to buy more time.
Yeah, seems like they are going to be looking for the base as well. Oh, the hook coming in from Zorn. Not going to be able to connect on Jenny. Means that Team Malaysia, they're going to be forced doubling out on turtle. But eventually, they have to be quick because Team Myanmar, they're waiting very, very patiently. But it seems like Team Malaysia, they're going to be able to get it for free unless Team Myanmar has something to say. Moon, however, getting caught out a little bit. He's going to go for the harassment as well. The Black Dragon comes in from side Bamboo, going for a contest, but no, the turtle will be secure from side Team Malaysia. Real Mission being dropped from side Myanmar. They're taking a little bit too much damage. Zorn's going to get picked up. Chiku as well. And just like that, Team Malaysia get completely overwhelmed by the CCs coming from Myanmar, despite coming up top with the turtle trades.
Yeah, getting the turtle is not going to be worth losing 2 members, especially if one of them is Chiku, the jungler, which needs to stay alive at this point. Veno, already hitting level 4, is proving to be a bit of a problem. And since Formaze had to use his knockout strike to stop the real-world manipulation, and it took him a while to do so because he didn't have his cooldown available, it allowed Oh My Jenny to do a lot of crowd control for his team.
Yeah, very, very difficult stuff coming in from Team Malaysia to fight against this comp. And considering that they do have a Ling being played by PS, Team Myanmar is going to have a little bit of a upper edge in terms of the early to mid stage game. So Team Malaysia's wise, it's all about dragging this out and scale in towards the later stage of the game. So it all comes down to who makes the first mistakes. However, here comes the hook again from Zorn. Unfortunately, doesn't seem to connect. Means Team Myanmar is going to be A-okay for now.
Team Myanmar has been doing a very good job so far of juking the Iron Hook. Formaze doing some damage to BS right now, but Black is in the area, so it's not wise for him to dive too far for that. I don't think either team is going to look for an over-aggressive play until the next turtle comes up, but Momo is getting an entire gold shield all to himself.
Agreed. Blade of Despair purchase up on him. Likewise with Gumi with the Demon Hunter Sword and also Jenny having the Enchanted Talisman. Slowly but surely, Team Myanmar is building up their utilitarian, and Team Malaysia is trying their best to actually scale back into this game. And fortunately for them, they are going to be able to 50-50 their economy as of yet. But still, let's take a look at the items real quick as well. As you can see, they do start to prioritize a little bit on the marksman department. But look at this. Black is going to get caught up, and that is going to be the big catch that the Team Malaysia is looking forward to. And that is going to help them secure the potential total that they may have to come. However, look at the minimap itself. Team Myanmar, they're calling in the U-Job to come in to challenge the turtle. Do they have enough time? But no, the turtle gets stolen away. But PS from the sides zips out of there. Looks to get a little bit more in terms of trade with the turtle shield. However, Team Malaysia not too happy about that trade, as Formaze is going to try and salvage by taking tier 1 up top.
I think Malaysia was definitely hoping to be able to secure both the turtle and the top tier 1. They're sadly going to have to settle with just that tower, but Momo is going to be able to get another one as well. So even though they lose out on the turtle, they're getting more structures. Formaze now going 1v2, forcing out the Blazing Duet, and the Flicker has been used to escape, but he gets caught by the Circling Eagle. He needs to use his cooldowns, but they're all on cooldown. Momo gets a kill on the other side of the map. Formaze still surviving. He ends up dying, but bought enough time for Chiku to come in. Unfortunately, gets juked out by Gumi with the Battle Mirror image.
Oh, so unfortunate, but still beautiful stuff coming from Formaze. He was able to make so much space for the team, as Team Malaysia is going to be able to get a little bit more economy as they chip away at the middle tower. You can see slowly but surely they are getting a little bit more economy. It's all about space creation and dragging time, and Team Malaysia is just playing it patiently now. Zorn going for the hook, forces a Flicker onto his back. The Sanguine Claw pulls in the play. Unfortunately, doesn't have enough damage going for the challenge, and it's just not worth the risk coming from Team Malaysia.
Yep, but they are definitely starting to build up a little bit of a net worth lead. Most dangerously going to be Momo, 2-0 on the Beatrix, already a 5k net worth, 700 more gold than the richest member of Myanmar, which is going to be Gumi. Malaysia going to be kind of gearing up to play around this Beatrix as the game goes on.
Exactly, it's going to be the backup strategy coming from Team Malaysia, and like I said as well, Team Momo is currently 2-0 from the side of Team Malaysia, whereas Team Myanmar, they're trying to get some sort of pickups, but it's so very difficult just because of the constant pressure of the Franco. And look at this, the hook comes in. Black this time does not have the Flicker, not going to be able to do too much as he gets KCC. Momo, however, getting a little bit greedy, tries to go for a tier 2. He's going to be caught out, but is he going to be able to survive? Looks like he's going to try and flicker out of the situation. Black Dragon come in and go in for the expanded, and seems like there is nothing Benno can do. He's going to get completely shut down. Patience from Momo gets the job done, and he is going to get surrounded by the rest of the members to protect his way through. But looks like PS has to run for his life as Momo is looking for the kill. PS got a little bit sneaky. Is he gonna turn back to go for the kill? But looks like the minions is gonna catch him, but he doesn't have the energy. Team Malaysia, they want to pull him, and Moon catches right at the edge with the bad impact. Gets the job done. Beautiful stuff coming from Team Malaysia.
Yeah, that was just excellently played. Being able to perfectly zone out the enemies from Momo, protecting him within them, even though he was surrounded by Team Myanmar on both sides, and then picking up PS on top of that. But now Formaze in a bit of trouble. Real One Manipulation dropped down in the mid lane, doing a lot of damage to Moon and Momo, but they will get out. Same goes for Formaze. Team Malaysia just getting objectives.
Oh, close call coming from Black in that situation. Almost getting caught by the Sanguine Claw is going to put him in a very, very sticky situation. However, Team Myanmar, they've got the respect to Team Malaysia as of yet. They're losing out in terms of economy, but what is this? Black, he's going to try and go for a challenge against Formaze, but there's only so much he can do. It seems like he's just trying to zone him out to try and make space for Gumi to get some sort of farm.
Gumi is going to be the win condition for Myanmar here alongside PS. They need these two late game heroes to come online, but they're now challenging Formaze. This is a 1v4 situation. Will he get out? Only Black's on him because in the back line, Zorn and Chico are jumping him. They've already cooked out Formaze, but the A are able to trade out Benno in exchange. Real One Manipulation dropped down. That is so much damage. Moon just completely destroys Gumi, as now Zorn will stop the Real One Manipulation. Moon gets the triple kill. Will they go for the Maniac? Black, the final survivor here. Ling not in the area. Moon looking for his Sanguine Claws, going to miss. Iron Hook going to miss. No Maniac today.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful priority coming from Moon. However, Momo has something to say from the side. Black gets two shots as well, looking for the third. Circling Eagle, trying to sustain his way through, but guess what? It was not worth it at all, as Team Malaysia has covered all exits. Leave no one alive, and that is going to be the strategy from Team Malaysia.
Team Malaysia taking a page out of Team Singapore's book, flickering forward with Wesker's elation to get the kill, and Momo now starting to really become a problem. 8k net worth on this Beatrix, 4-0. And while you're thinking about that, Moon as well is 5-0 on this Sicilian. The late game heroes in Malaysia starting to really scale up.
Yep, barely 10 minutes into the game before hitting it as well. Moon's already got his Divine Glaive up. This Sicilian is close to going for the one slap in towards Oblivion coming into this next couple of fights. Team Myanmar, they have to play this very, very patiently, but as of now, the constant pressure of the Iron Hook and the Sanguine Claw seems to be outranging Team Myanmar by a little bit too much compared to Team Myanmar's wombo combo composition.
Yep, Team Myanmar's composition requires them to fight all together, and because of that, you see Formaze constantly split pushing the other side of the map to pull some of them over so that Team Malaysia can take these fights. The concealed play comes out, Bloody Hunt onto the Matilda, instantly taken out by Momo. Unstoppable streak. They're trying to catch up Formaze in the mid lane, but he's just buying time.
Beautiful information gathering come from Team Malaysia, having Formaze down mid. Immediately scouts out that Myanmar's formation has been split off, immediately goes in for the play, but now looks like this, they have to back off, but the damage coming from Moon as well as Momo starting to hit a little bit too much. Team Myanmar not being able to handle it. As you can see, the oppression continues coming from Team Malaysia as they want to chip away at the objectives and get a little bit more map control. Lord won't be spawned as of yet, but Team Malaysia, they're looking to go in for a pickup. And Moon now is going to be using himself as a bait. Real Manipulation comes in. He's going to run for his life. However, it's not going to really do too much. Team Malaysia going to be losing a little bit too much in that trade-off as they also lose Momo in that situation. Myanmar finding the right opportunity, and that is going to be huge for Team Myanmar to go for this play.
Mistakes made again by Team Malaysia. They have this tendency to drop the ball in the late game, but they're still looking for it. Formaze jumps in with the knockout strike combo, not able to finish off Gumi. Circling Eagle finds Zorn in the backline. They're chasing him down with the Bladed Tempest, but they change their target over to Chiku. He will be fine. Formaze gets a 3-man knockout strike, just buying so much time for his team. He is still alive. He's looking he gets so much and he flickers away, but won't be able to survive. But his job is done. done.
Oh my goodness, it was a 3v5. They were able to trade 1-for-1 for Team Malaysia and also stall out on the rod push. And because of this, Team Malaysia, they're back in action. However, Myanmar has redeemed their economy loss. And this is going to be putting both teams at a 50-50 deficit. And it's all about making those plays. And as of yet, Team Malaysia looking for the ambush. Do they scout out Black? As you can see, Black, they did hide in the bush and scout a little bit of information. Momo going to be laying low a little bit more. So Team Myanmar, they are going to go for the split push strat for now.
Malaysia going to have control over the lower pit now as the rest of Myanmar are backing things off to regroup. So far, they're going to be focusing on split pushing and both top and bottom are pushing in their favor. So if Team Malaysia is not able to respond to that, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. And since they're doing so, Myanmar knows they can go for the Lord. Circling Eagle on the Zorn in the back line. They get the Lord. Chiku jumps in, but it's taking way too much damage. Meanwhile, they do find some Matilda on the side, going for the kill over the Team Malaysia. They're now chasing them down. They want Feno. Knockout strike. Not gonna find it. PS gonna get taken down by Momo as he flicks it forward. Feno tries to jump backwards to save him, but ends up sacrificing himself as well.
Oh, beautiful base coming from Team Malaysia. Myanmar, they had to take the Lord. They got the job done. However, they used a little bit too much to get the objectives. And now with the hook coming in from Team Malaysia, they can look to go in for the counter push. You can see Moon starting to step a little bit too much. However, now, with the offense coming in and the empowered minions, they're forced to go back and also defend against this Lord push.
Hiku is able to arrive at the Lord just in time to prevent him from being able to do damage to the tower. So they maintain their tier 2 down bottom. But both these teams are looking to be incredibly even right now. Malaysia has more kills overall, but the net worth difference is pretty minuscule. So it comes down to which team is able to find better opportunities or avoid making mistakes.
Yep, this is a huge pickup coming from Chiku. Just recently getting the Radiant Armor is going to keep him a little bit more sustained against the Yif counter push. However, the bigger threat coming from Team Myanmar is got to be Gumi on that cloud. So there's something that they have to figure out on how to salvage a solution. This is a Vengeance Cloud. Need to remind you. So if he gets caught out, he is going to be able to dish out damage as long as he pops his Blazing Duet alongside with the Vengeance. But at the same time, vice versa, Team Malaysia can look to just completely chain combo CC with Zord as well as Moon.
Right now, Team Malaysia is going to be looking for pickoffs, whereas Team Myanmar is looking for a team fight initiation to set up for Gumi's Blazing Duet, because the Claude right now is actually doing quite a lot of damage. As long as they can buy enough time for him, that's something that Team Malaysia wants to avoid allowing to happen.
Patience is key, and you can see Team Malaysia, they're hiding in the bush here. Team Myanmar are going to be going for the escort for PS to get some sort of farm, and it looks like they don't want to force the issue, but seems like Team Malaysia can't seem to catch any of the pickoffs, but looks like they will eventually find one. They go in for the full combo on towards the Gumi, but unfortunately doesn't have enough damage to finish him off instead, and they get turned around as Team Malaysia needs to go on full retreat as Moon completely being focused on by the side of PS. Has the Winter Trunk, it tries to survive, and PS down towards the last health, but the bad impact doesn't connect towards him, and he's not going to be able to trade 1-for-1. That is going to be 2 down from the side of Team Malaysia, and that is not looking good for them as of yet.
An excellent counter initiation by Myanmar as Team Malaysia attempting to get the kill onto Gumi ended up picking the wrong target as Vengeance kept him alive. They now are on top of Momo, forcing out Nibiru's passion. Not quite able to finish off PS. Very close though. He's just able to prevent them from getting him.
I'm really surprised that Team Myanmar did not went all in against Momo, because that was the juiciest target to go for. But considering the amount of damage that he is dishing out, and also the uncertainty of where the rest of the members of Team Malaysia are, they chose to play the safer options. They are going to go for the Lord objectives, which you can see is going to be down on towards the bottom side of the terrain, as Team Malaysia is in nowhere position to contest yet. So Team Myanmar, they do have the upper hand. Zorn looking for the hook. Black reveals his position. Momo, on the other hand, first chase in the hard claws. Looks like they are going to go for the chain. They won't take the bait, and that is going to be Black taken out of the equation. No ultimate up on Zorn means that is going to be free reign for PS to try to go for the Lord Steel once again.
That was very weird from Black there. I feel like he knew that Zorn was there, but still allowed himself to get hooked. As you mentioned, Momo now going to be chunking out the Lord, but choosing to reset it because they know that PS is nearby, and they're not confident about it. They get the hook. hook onto Benno, but Zorn's the only one there. Formase coming in from the backline. He's just gonna try and zone out Myanmar to buy time for his team, and it is working as the Lord goes to Chiku.
Wow, that was huge as well. Team Malaysia, they played it perfectly. The lanes were pushed up to the top side. As soon as Gumi showed himself up top, immediately they go in for the zone tactics and clear up the Lord. Nicely done coming from Team Malaysia as of yet. But can they capitalize on this Lord push? Because as of yet, Team Myanmar, they still have a lot of damage to actually clear this off.
It's going to be a 5v5, but no inhibitor in the mid lane to defend against them. So this is going to be important. Zorn holding on to his Iron Hook. Myanmar just pulling the Lord away. Black Dragon Form zoning out the rest of them. And they're not going to be able to do too much. Blazing Duet used to clear out the bottom wave. Real one manipulation as well. Iron Hook going to get purified as Formase is trying to get an engagement. But Myanmar just mounting a really effective defense. Team Malaysia now pushing up the top inhibitor. Are they still going to look for more? They get the snipe onto Benno, which is starting the initiation. Chiku in the backline with the heavy spin, not going to be able to push anyone out as Formase going to get chunked out. He's still alive though. Benno's race going to be clearing up the waves. They find the kill onto Black. They keep the inhibitor alive for now, but they lose the bottom one.
Wow, what a surprising turn of events. You know, Team Malaysia, they paid up major ultimates coming from Myanmar. And, you know, it seemed good for Team Malaysia going for the offense, but what they did not expect was that they dragged it long enough. That was pretty much the second ultimate coming from Jenny with the real manipulation to actually counter this play. So Team Malaysia, they have to be a little bit careful. Momo, however, will look to chip away at the final inhibitors of Myanmar. It's down towards the last health. It's all about that one tick. And you can see Myanmar is going to be going for those body blocks, making sure that they have some sort of lane pressure on towards the top side before going for the disengage or the defense.
Team Myanmar definitely on the back foot now. Their last inhibitor is literally one hit away from being destroyed. But 60 seconds left until the next Lord comes up means that they do still have time to make something happen. Right now, though, that's going to be very difficult to do so. They need a perfect team fight. They need to force out important cooldowns from Team Malaysia, especially that heavy spin.
Seems like there is going to be ambush down bottom as well coming from Team Malaysia as they do scout out PS, but I don't think they have the what it takes to go in for the crack. But seems like PS taking a little bit too much damage. Moon launching for the scat. 2 is enough to catch the link, and that is going to be the play that Team Malaysia is looking for too. And now here comes the flicker forward coming from Zor. Guts the hook, and that's 2 down from side Team Myanmar. And Malaysia has been waiting for the right moment to strike, and this is Team Myanmar's weakest point, and they are looking to close out the game number 1. However, they're trying all their best to Blazing Duet as well as the Black Dragon to try and defend against this. Malaysia will finish off the final inhibitors as they continue to chip away at Team Myanmar's defense. They lose another one. It's all my Jenny and Gumi. Gumi still has the damage. They managed to trade 1 for 1, but can they get a little bit more? Malaysia, look at this. Momo going to be ignoring the fight. Focus on the crystal, but instead gets taken down, but eventually all of them get wiped out, and that is going to be game 1 from Team Malaysia.
A clean victory coming out from Team Malaysia, recognizing that they have enough resources and enough bodies to just throw themselves at the crystal, ready to pop immortalities and lose members to ensure that they're able to claim victory over the game. Getting that pick off onto not only PS, but the hook onto Black as well was the difference they needed to finally push into the base and end the game in their favor.
Well, a little bit of a sigh of relief coming from Team Malaysia, but it is not over yet, because now this is going to be the important one. Can they get the 2-0 against Team Myanmar to take away the number 2 spot from Myanmar in group number 8? That's pretty much the way to go. As you can see, the Malaysian fans supporting on Team Malaysia, and of course a beautiful hook coming from Zorn. Just amazing stuff overall in game number 1.
I think there was just some really good communication and coordination in terms of Team Malaysia's team fighting. They knew exactly where their players needed to be, and I do think I have to give a shout out to Formase here. He did his job excellently, being able to split up team fights and buy time for his team to take objectives. Myanmar, though, definitely put up a really solid fight. These two teams are quite closely matched, and I am excited for game number 2.
Yeah, it could have gone either ways in that situation. Team Myanmar, they had the ballpark in their control, but like I said as well, Ling is no strangers when it comes to fighting against fought by Team Malaysia, so they have some sort of experience. It's all about stalling, it's all about split push potential, and it's all about dragging the game. And Team Malaysia, they managed to put it off. However, for Team Myanmar, it's back to the drawing board again. Can they tie the series against Malaysia?
Well, that's going to be their goal here. As we know, Team Myanmar is currently on a single 2-0 game. So if Team Malaysia are able to get 2-0 as well, then they will match them in second place, as you highlighted earlier, just one step closer to catching up to Team Philippines at the top of the group. It's going to be really intense. All of these teams want to be able to claim that semi-finals position. We don't even know for sure if Team Philippines are the ones that are going through, but they are in a very comfortable spot right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm looking forward to see how it all goes through, but as of yet, I am looking forward to see the item builds coming in from the match itself, in case you guys are a little bit curious on how it all went down. And of course, that is going to be a little bit of a switch here. They did have the Archive going full tank build from the side of Chiku. It is something of not a fan of me, considering that tank jungle being played from Team Malaysia is a little bit foreign for me, but they have managed to mirror Team Philippines playstyle and make it work for the team. Seems like Archive might be the true meta in the current patch.
I honestly think that tank jungle for Team Malaysia is actually not unusual at all, especially considering it is Chiku. He has a huge hero pool, and in this case, it works out really well because the heavy spin just so heavily disrupts the real-world manipulation Black Dragon form combo coming out from Team Myanmar. Usually, when you have these two heroes, you expect to be the one in control of the fight. But the Kai just made that impossible.
Yep, agree. MVP for that match from the side Team Malaysia is going to be none other than Momo with his B-Trix play. He has set up beautiful plays, getting a lot of catches all by himself as a marksman, has been able to dominate his composition. Getting a lot of objectives for the team is going to be the way to go. And we talked about this before. Team Malaysia's backup plan is going to be none other than Momo, and he did deliver in that match.
Yep, this is his signature hero here on the Beatrix. Very comfortable on it, able to make lots of things happen. We can see here in the highlights of that previous game that this was a very active game. As we mentioned, both teams are very aggressive early on. They like ganking, they like fighting, and that's exactly what we saw from them both. And I think for me, he just did an excellent job this game. He didn't end up being the MVP, but the amount of time he bought, the amount of space he created is just top tier.
I definitely agree as well, because for him, as long as he's making space for the team, the rest of Team Malaysia is going to get some sort of relief in terms of space creation or pressure. Team Myanmar can't exactly snowball with the composition. You can see time and time again, they have these wombo compositions that completely obliterates Team Malaysia. But at the same time, when they go in for the all-in push, Team Malaysia is able to try and drag this out as long as possible and capitalize on missed positions or mistakes from Team Myanmar.
Team Malaysia specializes in splitting up these fights. They love this skirmish style of gameplay because they know that their players are mechanically gifted enough to take these 1v1s. Of course, that is not to say that Myanmar did anything wrong here. They were just outmaneuvered in many of these fights, going for one kill, but missing out on the overall picture of the fight and allowing Team Malaysia to take control.
Yeah, the earlier moment there where Moon was able to get triple kill was something that Team Myanmar wasn't expecting, and I believe none of us actually expected as well, because when he came to save the day, he was setting up positions where Team Myanmar was actually underestimating his mobility and then getting slapped bit by bit and chipped away towards the fight. So for him to get a triple kill from that fight just gave them a little bit more damage. However, Myanmar played it very, very smart. Stealing this Lord away from Team Malaysia is what gave them the equalizer that they need to come back in this game, which, however, it all came down to a 50-50 coin toss, which obviously it could have been anyone's game. You can see Team Malaysia was struggling in all these fights as soon as Team Myanmar still forces a 5v5 fight. And like you said as well, Team Myanmar, they want to go for a full clumped out fight, whereas Team Malaysia, they don't really want to do it. It's all about split push for that, Joe.
Yeah, and it ended up working out for them, especially in these final few fights. The fact that Zorn was able to find so many pickups that Myanmar found themselves often out of position is what ended up spelling their defeat, because they want to be the ones to initiate the team fight themselves. They have a lot of damage, and their team composition is very scary. But when Team Malaysia Malaysia is able to jump into their backline and just completely disrupt them, that's when you know they have lost control of the battlefield.
I definitely agree. Team Malaysia just played it so surgical as well. It's all about slow and steady, bleeding up, slowing her crazy, instead of going for the all-in push. This was a little bit risky as well in the final moments because it showed a little bit more of enlightenment coming from Team Myanmar to actually come back to the game. Even Momo closing out the series, fused the immortality, even forced out the finish on the crystal is what made things happen for Team Malaysia. So it could have gone south really bad, but Team Malaysia, they finally solidified their objectives a little bit better. Seems like a little bit of repeat coming from how they played against Team Philippines from game number 2. Unfortunately, the difference between game 2 against their matchup against Philippines and this is that they were able to get the crystal down. They were able to destroy the crystal in that regards as compared to their unsuccessful attempt against Team Philippines.
Yeah, that was just really unfortunate for them early in the day, but they're back, they're rested up, and they want to claim victory this time after letting it slip just slightly away from their fingers. That was a really exciting game to watch. And again, I think both these teams are really evenly matched. They have similar styles of play. They like going for that early game aggression and snowball it into further momentum. In this case, Team Malaysia were the ones that were able to kind of slightly get advantage over advantage and turn that into winning team fights. But they still made plenty of mistakes themselves.
Agreed.
They were just able to come back from it, which just goes to show Team Myanmar as well has a lot of opportunities they can take advantage of to win game 2.
I definitely agree. It's anyone's game coming in towards the tournament, this match itself. If Team Malaysia gets the 2-0 against Myanmar, it's going to put them in a very comfortable spot when they head in towards the end of today. But like I said as well, it's not over until every single match has been played off. We've seen miracle runs. We've seen unexpected turn of events. We've seen a 1-1 brought to you by Team Vietnam as well as Singapore, which was something that the audience was baffled in towards the fights itself.
Honestly, it's incredible the fact that we only got our first 1-1 match like so late into the day. I wonder if we're going to see more. I feel like the competition is actually getting tighter, even though it's the same day. But as time goes on, teams are realizing what's at stake. They're realizing how competitive this tournament really is and what their opponents are truly capable of. And yeah, I want to see what happens next. I want to see which teams are going to be moving on, because it's heartbreaking to see some of these teams go home after all of the effort they put in.
Exactly. Mathematically as well, you can afford to play a little bit slow on one series only. Other than that, it's all out if you want to make it into the final stages. And as you can see, Team Malaysia, they may have lost their match against the Philippines. This time, I feel like it was a little bit too close to be called comfort, because if they drop this ball, they might have lost a potential chance to make it towards the final stage, on top of potentially maybe needing to go for a tiebreaker if this is going to be the way. But before we speculate things into the tiebreaker series here, it's not over yet for Team Myanmar. Because why? It's only 1-0. But if they tie the series, means things are going to be a little bit interesting, because it all comes down to whether or not Team Malaysia is going to be able to get the 2-0 victory against Laos later on by the end of today. If that happens, we are going to be expecting a tiebreaker between both Malaysia and Myanmar.
Ooh, it's very exciting to think about, and honestly really nerve-wracking as well. I think a lot of us here are going to be sitting on the edge of our seats just wondering who is going to make it, because all of these teams are so closely matched. As you highlighted, since these teams are in Group A, they have more games as compared to those in Group B.
Agreed.
So they can actually afford to drop a game or two. In this case, Myanmar, they've already won 1-2-0 earlier. So even if they lose to Malaysia now, they're actually still in a pretty alright spot. Not ideal, but still okay. Team Malaysia are the ones that really need this victory.
I definitely agree, considering that they are going to be sharing the score if Team Malaysia gets a 2-0. However, if Myanmar somehow manages to take a game against Team Philippines, that puts them in a different spot, because Team Malaysia might not be able to make it if Myanmar is able to achieve so against Team Philippines.
Anything can happen, and we're very excited to be able to bring all of this action to you. I'm sure you guys are enjoying all of this MLBB action just as much as we are. And I am so excited to see what is going to happen next. Obviously, for those of you who might just be joining us now, you are currently watching the match between Team Malaysia and Team Myanmar. Malaysia currently 1 game up against their opponents, need to win another victory if they want to match Myanmar's 2nd place position in Group A.
Whew, tough calls. A lot is on the line. As of yet, Malaysia is 1 step away from tying it with Team Myanmar in terms of the score. But like I said, it is not over yet, and it's anything can happen at this stage of the tournament. And Team Myanmar, if they get the tie onto Team Malaysia, they're in a very, very comfortable spot compared to Team Malaysia. But as of yet, anything can happen. Like I said, it's all about fine-tuning drops, but this time, who's going to go first pick? Is it going to be Malaysia or is it going to be Myanmar? What is going to be the adaptations coming from Team Myanmar? What should they ban? What should they focus on coming into this game number 2, Staffa?
I think one thing that Team Myanmar has to respect a bit more is this Franco pick coming out of Team Malaysia.
Yeah.
In that early game, we know that both these teams focus very heavily on making sure that they get that early farm so that they can snowball their momentum. This Franco proved to be a little bit of a problem for them, even though they were able to pick up the Ling, a hero that so far has been banned nearly 100% of the time. So that shows that Team Malaysia are not actually afraid of letting this assassin through.
Yeah, what I'm really surprised is the Fanny is just completely ignored in all the games. But I feel like Team Malaysia, they have stepped up a little bit more, but I'm looking forward to see whether or not Team Myanmar is going to be able to pull off the potential Fanny. We know that Team Laos has been able to do it, but I'm not exactly sure if Myanmar is going to be able to bring that to the table. So Team Malaysia may have that as a pocket strategy, but is this now the perfect time to use it?
Well, we will find out because the draft has once again begun. Team Malaysia going to be on the blue side of the draft this time. Team Myanmar on the red side. Grok going to be the first hero banned out.
Yep, this is the most disciplined plays coming from Team Malaysia I've seen in a very, very long time. And I'm looking forward to see how far can they progress, because in terms of compositions, Ling is something that they may consider play. But at the same time, tank jungler has been the way to go for Team Malaysia from all the matches so far. So do you think they want to pick the Ling for themselves?
I think if they're given an opportunity where the Ling is actually led through the draft, they would probably prioritize going for it, because Chiku is actually very proficient with the Ling and has made some pretty amazing things happen before. In comparison though, they will prioritize the Wan more heavily if that's led through.
I definitely agree, but seems like Franco will be banned from side Team Malaysia this time. Not going to be taking the risk as Team Myanmar may consider picking up themselves. However, Hilda is going to be up for grabs for either of the sides. I think Team Myanmar would prioritize go for it as well. You can see a little bit of banter discussions coming from Team Malaysia as they are trying to figure out what Moon is going to be playing. Considering that Xavier was banned out in the first phase, they might opt to go for the first hit Xavier instead this time over the Wan and over the Ling.
That is a good shout out. The Xavier is a hero that we know Moon is very comfortable in playing. So maybe it's something that Team Malaysia would want to prioritize. I'm wondering if they want to respect Black's Hilda gameplay, because it can be very scary in the early game. No, they're going to be banning out Oh My Jenny's Eve instead.
Yep, yeah, Black's Hilda was something that we did not expect as well, but it was a great opener coming from Team Myanmar, so it's something that you can actually take into consideration as well. It's all about the invades. However, I remind you, Masha completely being ignored as well is a pretty decent invade when it comes to roaming potential. However, has been nerfed a little bit and has been prioritized onto its XP lane rather than the invades of the, I would say, the roaming role coming from the Masha. So I feel like Team Malaysia, I don't think they would care too much about the Masha, considering that Yuzhong is a great way to deal with XP Masha.
Yeah, but the Hilda is actually going to be banned out by Myanmar themselves. They are worried that Team Malaysia will pick it up. This means that Wan, Ling, all of these usual bans are open. Myanmar, they're just saying, okay, we are going to open up the draft entirely. You can have one. We're going to take two because we're on the second side of the draft.
Now, options are very, very much available for Team Malaysia, right? But if you think about it, there are not a lot of teams that have figured out how to deal with 1-1. I feel like Team Philippines is a great representation on how they deal with the 1-1, which is going for the Ubi strategy in the sense the Estes pickup. However, Team Malaysia, do they have the drafts and composition to go for it? But it seems like they are going to play it safe, focus on towards their own comfort picks, and that is going to be the Xavier coming from Team Malaysia. And this time, the Ling and the 1-1 is going to be in the ballpark for Myanmar to pick it for both of that.
This is quite risky for Team Malaysia. We know that they're quite effective with the Xavier.
I did not expect this at all coming from Team Myanmar. They're just completely letting both of these heroes away.
I actually quite like this because, well, disregarding the Matilda for now, the Beatrix is a hero that both these teams prioritize heavily, and we already saw how scary Momo is on it. Yes, picking up the Beatrix at this point would allow the 1-1 through, but in comparison, Beatrix is a hero that is much easier to play. Because of that though, Momo gonna be getting his 1-1, and we're actually gonna be seeing Chiku on a non-tank jungle.
Well, technically it is still considered. Yeah, technically it's still a tank arena. Yeah, so I still like Team Malaysia. They're still gonna go for it as well. I feel like Ling is something they can go for, but based on how they played throughout the entirety of the day, it feels like don't fix something that didn't exactly go too wrong. The match against Team Philippines wasn't exactly a mistake. It was a very, very minor one. They played as well as they can. The strategy works, as demonstrated by both their gameplay against Team Philippines and also Team Philippines prioritizing on the tank jungle. So I feel like this is a great situation, but at the same time, it's all in Team Myanmar's ballpark. Because if you think about it, they have two very, very annoying heroes they have to work with. One being the 1-1, and two being the Karina. Yes, having the Susina is a great with the Karina, but is it a solution to the 1-1?
We will see, but it is a very solid late game mage. Obviously, we've already seen many teams counterplay the Xavier by picking up the Sicilian for themselves, so they have a late game counter. So it's gonna come down heavily to execution, but what I am a little worried about in terms of Myanmar is that so far in their pick...
I'm sorry.
Oh, hold on.
I'm sorry about that, but Team Myanmar, they are gonna be banning the Atlas just because potentially, I feel like, you know, Team Malaysia, they can opt to go for it because of the jungle Atlas, but at the same time, if you think about it, a roaming Atlas isn't exactly too bad for the Xavier 1-more combo. So, okay, maybe I'm just being paranoid. I'm sorry.
Personally, I don't really like it. I don't really think Myanmar needed to ban this out because, yes, the Atlas is very good at grouping people up for the Dawning Light, but I don't really think it's something that Zone plays very prevalently.
No, I think he does. I think he does. I mean, technically,
but
they
has
are
he
the
played it
professionals.
prevalently?
I don't know. It all comes down to drafts. It all comes down to the playstyles coming from Team Malaysia for sure. But for me, I feel like the biggest threat coming from Team Myanmar is like how will they deal with this Karina, right? In terms of options and solutions so far, I feel like Baxia is okay. Barat is not the best, but it's still very, very possible from Team Myanmar to actually mirror the tank composition. Any other assassins is not going to be a good matchup against Karina. I feel like Lunox is not the best jungler, but has been played from Team Malaysia before to deal against the Karina. So I feel like it's very difficult to do so, but Team Malaysia, they are going to ban off standard bans here, and that's going to be the Baxia and the Ling.
I'm surprised they decided to ban out the Ling at this point because it doesn't feel like something Myanmar would go for anymore. I thought they would ban out options like the Barats, like you mentioned, or even the Balmond, because these are heroes that can play against the Karina. So if Myanmar is going to be locking in their jungler here, I think one of these would be better. They're going to be keeping that secret for now, locking in the Esmeralda.
Yeah, I was expecting maybe an Angelo pickup coming from Team Myanmar, but seems like they've already doubled down on the Matilda, so I highly doubt that's going to be the case. Esmeralda going to be the way to go in case Team Malaysia decides to go for a potential Phobius pickup. Esmeralda is a great way to deal with the Karina into the later stage of the game. However, on the early stage of the game, it's still having the ballpark from the side of Team Malaysia. So I'm a little bit worried on what their final pickup from Team Myanmar. I feel like if they were to go for a tanky composition, I don't think Team Malaysia has the damage to actually break through the defense of Team Myanmar unless they go for a lot of pickups.
Well, they could just go for Dirov on 4 maze to
okay,
counter
yeah,
the Esme.
you are absolutely right.
And yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do. A really good Esme counter in lane, deals with tankier heroes. And Zorn going to be bringing Kufra to the SEA Games for the first time today.
This is really, really smart coming from Team Malaysia. You know, you take away a Kufra, expecting that maybe, you know, if Team Myanmar decides to go for a cheese fatty, it's a great way to do with it, and also denies away the Kufra pickup for to the side of Team Myanmar if they decide to use it to deal with the mobilities of 1-1. So I like the adaptation, but Team Myanmar, they're doubling down on the Paquito, and this is going to be the jungle Paquito coming from Team Myanmar.
Jungle Paquito is very strong right now in the current meta, deals a lot of damage and has a lot of utility, and is not a bad choice to go up against the jungle Karina, but is actually quite heavily countered by the Kufra as well, because it's a hero that relies heavily on mobility.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be the second match, and these are your players representing both Malaysia as well as Myanmar. And they are going to be heading into the Land of Dawn for the 31st SEA Games here in Vietnam 2021. And I'm looking forward to see what kind of gameplay is Team Myanmar going to be able to bounce back with this composition, or will Team Malaysia get the clean 2-0? But as of yet, what I do know is Team Malaysia is going to be on the blue side and Team Myanmar on the red side.
We can see 2 Purifies coming out from Team Myanmar on Oh My Jenny and Benno, so they are afraid of the CC that's going to be coming out of Zorn. And we know that he can play very aggressively. Right now, they already started by trying to invade the enemy purple buff, but very wisely, PS has started with the orange instead.
Yep, seems like this is going to be the case there as well. Momo going up against Gumi going for the sniper instead in the early matchup to go in for the harassments. And Invades is going to be on his way. Zorn going to be making a little bit of play. Great setups coming from him as well. Immediately chunks down an early flicker. And here comes the recall that Zorn is known for. Myanmar, they have to back off.
Even at the SEA Games, the man decides that he wants to recall spam. This is just classic Zorn. Oh, very well played here by Benno, getting that last hit on the gold crab to steal it from Forme.
Yeah, nicely done. That's going to help him accelerate his farm where Team Myanmar is going to need him to do so, especially into the later stage of the game to deal with the carry. But as of yet, it's still too early to count them out yet. But as of now, Team Malaysia, what is going to be the response? Turtle is going to be up in 35 seconds down bottom, but before they hit down, they are looking for some sort of gang rotations, and seems like the invades is going to be the way to go. And Chiku, he manages to steal the purple buff against PS.
That's unfortunate. PS did not have his retribution up. He had just used it earlier, which meant that that was a free purple buff going over to Chiku. This is an excellent start for Malaysia, and that's exactly the kind of map control they want to have this early on in the game. Turtle coming up in 10 seconds.
Exactly. Turtle is going to be the way to go. Team Malaysia, they're forcing a fight for maze, trying to bait this out as well. Chiku will secure the gold crab for himself, but the retribution is going to be up in 8 seconds, so now is the best time to go for Turtle. The rest of Team Malaysia are in position, as Team Myanmar a little bit late to the party. It looks like they might consider forcing the fight. PS wants to go for it, but nope, unfortunately gets stopped in this track, and you can see immediate follow-up coming from Malaysia. Beautiful catch coming from Moon to get the kill, and that is going to be not 1 but 2 kills in the bag of Team Malaysia.
You can't even blame PS for being out of position there. That Mystic Field from Moon was perfect and so fast to stop him in his tracks, allows Chiku to steal the turtle away, and then Zorn even stops his escape with the bouncing ball.
Look at the traps coming from Moon as well. He's just so confident. He knows that he is going to get those shots in, and he will immediately go in for the shutdown. Zorn, however, is almost a level ahead against Black, who's arguably supposed to be the roamer and mirror matchup for each other, and this is not looking good for Team Myanmar if this keeps up.
Yeah, but we can see that Momo is getting zoned out of lane by Gumi right now in the early game. The Beatrix is going to be much more effective as compared to the 1-1, so Team Malaysia might have to put a bit more focus into ensuring he gets his farm. Formaze going to be cutting out the wave in the EXP lane as well, and we can see that Oh My Jenny was sent home as Momo going to get targeted by the Circling Eagle again. He wants to get the crossbow of Tang, and looks like Zorn coming in, gets the Tyrant's Rage, gonna pound him against the wall, but Nibiru's passion gets the kill onto the Kufra.
Oh, nicely done coming from Gumi as well. He knows that Momo is going to be coming in as well. If Momo decides to go in for a little bit more further to proc crossbow, Dax will get immediately obliterated. Great positioning coming from Gumi. However, on bottom side, they do get the pickup onto Benno, and on top of the Dawning Light further overkill that fight. But seems like Team Myanmar, they are going to be winning their gold lane, but the other side of the lane is going to be completely obliterated from Team Malaysia.
That's a problem here for Team Malaysia. Gumi getting a full tower at this stage of the game is going to be massive for him. And that's a lot of farm going over to the Beatrix. Momo now going to have less safe space to farm. And considering that this is Malaysia's basically primary win condition, they have to give him a little more space.
Yeah, I definitely agree, but seems like the turtle once again going to be the priority coming from Team Malaysia's second turtle in his back, but at the same time, 4 mains is going to be flickering out of situation, but it's just enough space for Chiku to get the job done and seal the deal. But Team Malaysia, do they want to re-engage? Zorn extends his Tyrant's Revenge, doesn't connect, but playing it a little bit safe. Moon, however, getting caught out, as you can see Jenny looking for the procs, and that is going to be the sprint forced out of Moon to get out of safety.
Oh, 4 mains is going to be ganked down in the bottom lane as well. He wants to trade for Gumi, but it's not enough. He gets picked off, which means that Team Malaysia are going to be focusing on Momo's lane instead. Benno will be able to clear up the wave. So Myanmar doing a good job of matching up to Team Malaysia's network.
Yep, beautiful stuff coming in from Team Myanmar, but that is going to be the gold plating down. 5 minutes mark is on its way. The next play is going to be up in 75 seconds, but Team Malaysia as well as Myanmar, they've got to figure out on how they scale into the game. We do see Benno having a little bit more levels now, but eventually he needs to hit this level 11 timings before he starts to get extremely tanky. Chico, however, looking for the next prey, and it seems like Team Myanmar, they're looking to go in for the challenge. The Sanguine Claw misses the mark, but they do force out the Retribution up for PS, means that is going to be a very, very farmed up Paquito, I guess.
We can see that there has been a lane swap by Team Myanmar. They're now putting Benno in the top lane against Momo and swapping Gumi down to the bottom lane. They want to use this Beatrix's advantage to win lane against 4 mains because they know that Esmeralda isn't going to be able to do so. PS looking for the engage.
Yep, seems like they are going to be splitting out as well. Chico reveals himself. They are going to lose Zorn in this vicinity. Team Myanmar will get a very, very nice pickup. However, 4 mains looks like he is going to go for the Abyssal Strike. Connects on 2. Chico finally goes for the strike. Gets Gumi now, looking for a little bit more. Beautiful stuff, but Black needs to run for his life. Moon, however, not going to be able to assist in that fight just because he was zoned out down mid. Dawning Light comes mid. Not exactly sure where Moon is aiming for, but seems like that is going to be a little bit of a vision control. But before that, let's take a look at the items real quick from both of these teams.
Obviously, Gumi going to be very rich right now. Already completed the Blade of Despair. 5k net worth total on himself. And that means this Beatrix is going to be the primary issue for Team Malaysia. But if they're able to hold on long enough, Xavier and Wanwan will definitely outscale it.
Agreed. Third turtle in the hands of Team Malaysia as this continues to scale. But as of now, Myanmar, they're not wasting any sort of resources. They want to keep up in terms of economy and they try to make some sort of plays. But what's the game plan coming from Team Myanmar? Because as of now, PS is level 9 and is 1 level behind Chiku, who's arguably the jungler of the team. It feels like he needs to make some sort of plays, but it's just so very difficult as of yet.
I think what Myanmar can do right now is that PS just goes for the backline, but Zorn getting a nice Tyrant's Raise. Not going to be able to stun them up though, using 2 Purifies to make sure that his ultimate just doesn't do anything, but trading that for those battle spells is going to be pretty big. We can see Gumi gonna be able to snipe down the mid turret, but Chiku is able to block it to keep that alive for now. Meanwhile, PS gotta find 4 mains in the bush, not going to engage.
Yep, Chiku understands that they do want to get a middle control, because if they lose this middle tower, means that Team Myanmar is gonna completely have free reign for the invade. So a little bit of mistakes coming from Team Malaysia early on, but still it doesn't really matter. Gumi's got the rage, he will poke the middle tower, and that is going to be map control in Team Myanmar's ballpark.
That has to be pretty frustrating for Team Malaysia, just losing your turret like that through no fault of your own. Circling Eagle onto 4 mains, putting Blacks out of position here. Abyssal Strike doing a lot of damage as 4 mains follows up. Dawning Light not quite enough as the shield from Guiding Winds keeps Black alive.
I'm surprised Chiku not opting to go for the play, but considering that there is a middle minion down middle, Team Malaysia, they don't want to overextend this play. Chiku deciding if he wants to go for the bush tech, but it seems like he is not going to go for it, and he does have a bigger fish to fry, and that's going to be Gumi. Look at this, reveals his position, but Gumi, gonna back off. Seems like Chiku is going to farm off a little bit more.
Right now, though, in terms of net worth, both teams are very even. Myanmar just slightly ahead, but it's a negligible amount. So both teams are just trying to buy time for their late-game heroes to start coming online. I do have to be a little bit wary for Team Malaysia because Myanmar, their late game is quite scary.
Yep, agreed. But as of yet, Momo has been laying low for a number of times. It looks like this is going to be his first play. He does have the cross-border crossbow attack. He's slowly chipping away at those Esmeralda. Finally pops it, tries to get a couple kills, but they've got the sustain. The Dawning Light not going to do too much, but Team Malaysia, they dropped the ball. They cannot afford to do this, but a beautiful slow from Moon to salvage the situation, but they will lose Chiku in the process. Not looking good for Team Malaysia as of yet.
That is actually just really unlucky for Chiku. He died to the Lord's swing. He would have gotten out of there just fine with the blade dance. But just really unlucky. Gumi doing a lot of damage to Moon as well.
Oh, whoa. Team Myanmar just giving it hard, making it hard for Team Malaysia as of yet. As you can see, they're slowly building up those items, and that is going to put Gumi in a very, very favorable position. We're having the Weapon Master on the Beatrix means that his damage is going to scale even harder towards the later stage of the game. But as of yet, what I do know, this is finally some sort of relief that Team Myanmar has been eyeing for as well in terms of getting the lead over Team Malaysia.
Yeah, they're quite comfortable right now. The net worth lead isn't actually that big just yet, and Malaysia will have no problem clearing up this Lord, but they have to avoid taking any more mistakes, taking any more team fights that they're unable to do. They need more time for Momo and Moon to come online, and they cannot give out more map control to Team Myanmar.
Oh no, Formay is getting picked off. He wanted to go for the split push potential. Unfortunately, Team Myanmar, they perfectly understand the situation. Ignore the Dirov. Don't give the Esmeralda to Dirov. What we do, we take them out as a team, and that's going to be the ballpark coming in. And Team Malaysia with one man down means that Team Malaysia is going to be forced to go for the split push potential. And it seems like that is going to be the case as Chiku tried to go for it, but Team Myanmar is just scouring and going for the hunt, clearing every single bushes, looking for their next prey. It seems like this is going to be the point of interest coming from Team Myanmar.
Yeah, Fenno has already scaled up to the point where it's very difficult to kill him as well. Dawning Light chunking them out a fair bit, but it's not going to be enough right now. And Zorn is starting to encounter a little bit of the problem with Kufra nowadays. The hero simply is not tanky enough to deal with the amount of burst damage that is becoming prevalent in the current meta.
Oh, Momo almost wanted to go for the proc on the crossbow tanks, but seems like they are going to force the issue. The Dawning Light comes in, connects on 5, but at the same time is not enough of damage. Team Malaysia, they're propping a little bit too much, but finally Momo baits them out of the situation, chains the crossbow tanks, gets 1, gets 2, looking for a little bit more. And Team Myanmar, they're scrambling, they're underestimating the power of the 1-1, and that is going to be the shutdown. Triple kill for Momo, and for Maze, as well as Born, is going to clean out the rest of Team Myanmar, and just like that, they completely wipe them all out.
This is the absolute threat of 1-1. There's a reason I've been saying this is the late game hero. That crossbow of tank instantly securing a double kill for Momo and allowing him to follow up. And then Zorn getting a nice Tyrant's Rage to finish off Team Myanmar, instantly turning things around. For Team Malaysia, they now have the net worth lead, and they want to take as many structures as possible.
Oh, patience has paid off. Team Malaysia waiting for the right moment to strike, and they got it. The perfect wombo combo, and Team Myanmar wasn't expecting that at all. However, it's not over yet. Even though they've got a team wipe, look at the economy. Pay attention to it. It's not really a big margin of lead from Team Malaysia, so technically, Team Myanmar still has the tools to actually fight back. However, Team Malaysia, they are going to try and open up the map for the next Lord fight, and Team Myanmar is gotta force this fight.
Team Myanmar now are definitely aware of the fact that Momo is the primary threat. As long as they deal with this 1-1, they have nothing to be worried about. So Team Malaysia are going to be focusing very heavily on ensuring Momo gets the proc, that crossbow of tank. This is going to come down very heavily to Chiku, Zorn, and Formaze. I think at this point, they are absolutely fine with sacrificing themselves as long as it means Momo gets that crossbow of tank.
Agreed. Team Malaysia looking for the setup. Doesn't seem to be able to find any sort of pickups. Benno's going to be sitting up top to defend against Formaze, but this is a good matchup for Formaze. I think he wants this fight. As soon as they see Benno up there, you can see the rest of Malaysia go in for the kill, and they find a big catch, and now immediately going for inhibitor. Team Myanmar, they're making their way towards the Lord Pit. However, Team Malaysia, are they going to contest this, or are they going to force the inhibitor? But seems like Team Myanmar, they make the right play. They will take the Lord right from the nose of the Dawning Light comes in, doesn't connect. But Team Malaysia, they're not giving up yet. They want to go and pick up the stragglers of Team Myanmar. They're separated. They're isolated. Momo poking them all out. They're stuck in the tier 2. Here comes the rest of Malaysia. They wipe the floor with them once again. 3 down. But the Lord is still in Myanmar's favor.
That's going to be a good trade from Malaysia as they find 2. Not to mention Benno being caught out earlier in exchange for the Luminous Lord. They shouldn't have too much problem dealing with this. But I do kind of feel like Malaysia underestimated Myanmar's damage a little bit. They thought they would be able to rotate over to the Lord in time to challenge it. I think they should have just gone for the inhibitor instead.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But at the same time, it was such a risky play. It all come down to whether or not you get kills or objectives. But as of yet, in terms of economy, Malaysia, they finally get a little bit more lead. But look at this. Momo is currently almost max slotted as well. This 1-1 is starting to get a very, very difficult to deal with. Finally, level 15 coming in from Momo.
This is going to be rough for Myanmar now, but the same can be said for Team Malaysia. They cannot allow Momo to get caught out because now that we're hitting the 15-minute mark, cooldown timers are going to start becoming quite an issue. And considering that there really aren't a lot of towers left on the map, losing out important members at this stage of the game is going to be massive.
Agreed. Now, with Chiku having the anti-Kiras, we are going to be expecting a little bit more aggression coming from Chiku to focus onto the dive on Luzumi. Once you get the anti-Kira frog, that means overall CC damage coming in from him is going to be very, very much reduced. So that's going to be a very, very small margin to talk about, but it all comes down to execution. However, for Mace, he is going to get a taste on his own medicine. He's going to try and make a run for it, but seems like Team Myanmar is not so confident to try and make a play right now.
That was an instant retreat from Myanmar. Once they realized they couldn't engage on 4 maze, they just backed up. Zorn going in with the conceal, but Myanmar has already gotten away, so they're not going to be able to catch them out. But they do force Myanmar back into their base, and that's exactly what Team Malaysia want right now. The less space they have on the map, the less farm they get.
Now, Orange Pup is on a Momo, but at the same time, Benno's got a Blade Armor, as well as the Divine Clay's purchase coming from Jenny. Means that the Cecilion is going to start to scale a little bit more. So it's all about those snaps. And Team Myanmar, they do have the tools to fight back, and Team Malaysia cannot afford to make this kind of mistake. But they do kind of, you know, going for a couple of pokes here and there. You can see Moon slowly going for a check, but the Dawning Light comes, it connects on half, but Team Malaysia, they don't really care. You can see they're not even bothered to clear the minions. They want to freeze the lane so that they can push the Lord, and this is very, very smart coming from Team Malaysia. They just don't want to give the economy back into Myanmar's pocket.
They're just allowing Zorn and Moon to threaten Myanmar and keep them within their base so that the rest of the team can get some farm, and they're waiting for the Lord to come back up. However, Myanmar has successfully pushed out of their base for now, so they will be able to challenge this Lord if Team Malaysia tries to go for it. I think they're trying to bait that in because 4maze is pushing the bottom lane.
Exactly, they're looking for the split push potential as well. Team Malaysia, they are going to try and threaten Inhibitor, but as soon as the Esmeralda reveals his position down bottom, means that Team Malaysia is a little bit more comfortable to contest for the Lord, but still, it's all about the waiting game. Team Malaysia still making not any moves yet. It all comes down to mistakes and movements from Team Myanmar. You can see the paranoia from the side of Team Myanmar is just unreal as they try to open up the map. Chiku does scout out the information. Zorn finally goes through the pressure. However, is this the wise call coming from Team Malaysia?
Doesn't seem like it, and they're going to wisely retreat from this. They know that multiple members of Team Myanmar are here right now. They're aware that Gumi is not with them, but it's still too dangerous to try and challenge this. They're gonna let Momo solo the Lord and buy time on the rest of the map so that Team Myanmar don't know that they are taking it.
Very difficult plays. Purple buff gonna be contested as well. Team Malaysia looks like they are gonna try and pick a fight, but on the side, you can see 4maze getting completely focused down as well, and he gets taken out, but he gets a trade coming in from side Team Moon. And Dawning Light comes in, but the crossbow of tanks coming in from Momo is going to get a little bit more as the Jenny gets picked off, and this is huge for Team Malaysia to go in for the fight.
Yeah, that was really well played by 4maze. Yes, he definitely bit off more than he could chew, challenging Gumi there, but he was ready to sacrifice his life because he knew that Moon had enough damage to finish off the Beatrix, and that is the only member of Team Myanmar that is actually truly a threat at this stage of the game. So Chiku can now start working on the Lord as the rest of his team zones out Myanmar into their base.
Nicely done coming from Team Malaysia, but as of yet, looks like the zone comes in. Dawning Light doesn't seem to do a little bit onto his back, but they can opt to threaten this. But just by this play coming from Team Malaysia, they completely forcing Team Myanmar to stay at the base, and the Lord is going to be safely secured in the hands of Team Malaysia. However, ooh, that's a big snipe, and an instant reply from Team Malaysia to say, hello, I can play this game too.
Momo has now completed his Malefic Roar. I do believe that is going to be his final item. If we look at his item build, yes, he is now full on items. This 1-1 is going to be doing a lot of damage, even to the tankier members of Team Myanmar. So they absolutely cannot allow this crossbow of Tang to activate. Luminous Lord now pushing up top lane. And Team Malaysia, they are timing all the waves to hit the base at once.
Yep, very, very nicely done as well. But Team Malaysia, as of yet, they do have all max slaughter. Meanwhile, Team Myanmar, they're trying to finish up their final items before this next team fight. But I don't really know if it's going to be enough, because as of yet, the minions are coming in. The Lord coming on the top side as well. Team Malaysia, they've got a shoot aside, and it seems like they are going to go for every single side.
Oh.
No, the catch coming in. Moon almost getting caught off. He's going to be able to sprint out alive. Fortunately for him, but he still has the dawning light. They need this one play, but the inhibitor will be focused down from side Team Malaysia. They are not taking any sort of risk yet, as just because of Moon, how low Moon's HP is as of now.
Yeah, they're going to make the choice not to go for an overly aggressive play. I think if Moon didn't get chunked out so low, Team Malaysia might have actually looked for a fight there, but they're not going to take the risk, knowing that one of their primary sources of damage isn't going to be able to stay in the fight for long. They are satisfied with a single inhibitor.
Yeah, that's going to be the safe play coming in, but as this game progresses, well, Myanmar is also going to be sailing a little bit more, but here comes the catch, and this is huge. They pull back the combo, and that's going to be the chains that coming in as well. Jenny's going to be focused down. Black is going to be the first to fall. That is going to be the Romo. However, Momo looking to change for the crossbow attacks, but Myanmar, they have learned their lessons. They are going to back up and respect this. So that is a big catch coming from Team Malaysia.
Yeah, they lose out Black, but all things considered, that's actually not so bad for Team Myanmar. Out of all of their members, that is going to be the least impactful pickoff for Team Malaysia. What is important to note is that another 50 seconds before the next Lord comes out. So Team Myanmar can't afford to give up too many more members. They gotta make sure they are all alive to challenge this, because this is going to be the final evolution of the Luminous Lord.
Very, very long stuff into this fight as well. Team Malaysia going for the zone. You can see 4 mains doing a fantastic job, but it seems like it's going to be split push potential. But let's take a look at the items real quick. Everyone's pretty much max slaughter except for the Sicilian, who's opting to go for the Ice Queen's wand as a final purchase, as well as the Matilda, potentially I would say a Tina shield to deal with the Karina as well as the Xavier.
We're now reaching the point in the game where basically every player is going to be maxed out in terms of items. So the net worth difference isn't going to matter too much. It all comes down to gameplay and execution. Myanmar wants to buy more space. They know the Lord is back up. Sanguine Claw is going to be catching out Tiku. They're doing damage to Benno, but he is tanky. He will be absolutely fine. Momo wants to look for the crossbow of Tang, but Benno instantly gets pulled back with the guiding wind. Forme is going to be in a lot of trouble, but certainly Eagle pulls Black forward. They're going to be able to catch out Benno as well, but he pulled back with the guiding wind. Zorn's going to be able to catch out Black. They find him. Crossbow of Tang has been activated, but it's all going on the Winter Trunkian by Benno, but he won't be able to survive. Dawning Light picks him off. Jigu jumps into the backline. Winter Trunkian going to be keeping Oh My Jenny alive for now as well, but they find the double kill onto Gumi. Only Oh My Jenny and PS are surviving now against all 5 members of Team Malaysia.
Oh, that was a huge tug of war. Myanmar, they found the opportunity. They whipped the Dawning Light. It was good, but at the same time, Team Malaysia was able to buy time. But now, oh my goodness, Sword! What was that? That was the sickest Cyrus Rage I've ever seen. And he gets the chain up, and that is it for Team Myanmar as Malaysia gets a 2-0 victory against Team Myanmar.
A well-deserved victory to Team Malaysia as they're able to turn around the early game advantage of their opponent and secure themselves the first 2-0 victory of the 31st SEA Games, putting them firmly in 2nd place in Group A, tied with Myanmar.
Oh my goodness, what a beautiful, beautiful game coming from Team Malaysia going up against Team Myanmar. I'm looking forward to see how it all comes down. As of yet, you can see the Malaysian fans are supporting from the side of Team Malaysia. And
between the giants, the MSC 2022 arena will be held at the the city of contrast and diversity, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Witness the clash of titans from the supreme MLBB region from June 11th until June 19th. Follow hashtag SupremeAC for more updates. Mobile Legends Bang Bang, where heroes make history. The MLBB Southeast Asia Cup, or MSC 2022. Who shall conquer and who shall be conquered? Which team will soar above the clouds and be crowned as the king of Southeast Asia? The MSC 2022 arena will be held at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, from June 11th until June 19th. Follow hashtag SupremeAC for more updates. Mobile Legends Bang Bang, where heroes make history.
Everyone was running, screaming. Mother? She abandoned me.
Xavier has betrayed the light. Now go purify.
That's not what I recall.
Did it take you this long to see that old man's true face?
Why are you so obsessed with us?
It's you.
Which of you called me in? All is none. To exist is to grasp a leaf in the wind. I don't require sacrifice. I require devotion. Let a storm whip up the souls. It was never my intention to bind all men to my will.
Legendary! Mega kill!
A gentle breeze is enough to shake the foes.
That time of the year again, where the best Mobile Legends Bang Bang teams from the tropical region of Southeast Asia converge together. The MLBB Southeast Asia Cup, or MSC 2022. Who shall conquer and who shall be conquered? Which team will soar above the clouds and be crowned as the king of Southeast Asia? Like the Zodiacs, a total of 12 teams from the region will compete in 2 stages. The group stage and the playoffs. Each group of 3 teams will fight against each other in a best-of-2 match, where the weakest of each group will be eliminated. That leaves the remaining 8 to continue their paths of glory. To facilitate the epic battles between the giants, the MSC 2022 arena will be held at the city of contrast and diversity, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Witness the clash of titans from the supreme MLBB region from June 11th until June 19th. Follow hashtag SupremeAC for more updates. Mobile Legends Bang Bang, where heroes make history. The MLBB Southeast Asia Cup, or MSC 2022. Who shall conquer and who shall be conquered? Which team will soar above the clouds and be crowned as the king of Southeast Asia? The MSC 2022 arena will be held at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, from June 11th until June 19th. Follow hashtag SupremeAC for more updates. Mobile Legends Bang Bang, where heroes make history.
as we approach the end of day 1 here at the 31st SEA Games. The standings in MLBB team event continue to get shaken up. Which of the remaining teams in Group A will be moving on to the semi-finals? We'll be finding out very shortly. My name's Staffa. Alongside with me is none other than, once again, Terrence, aka Icy Baby 12.
Yep, this next match is going to be a very important one coming from Team Myanmar if they want to decide to get the lead against Team Malaysia to actually advance in the next group stage. Considering that now Team Philippines in the standings is 4-0, means that they are going to be having a huge... Sorry, is it 6-0? 2-0, okay, 4 wins so far, okay, technically, and no losses from the side of Team Philippines. But of course, when it comes down to gameplays and execution, I don't know. Is it very possible? Do you think it is possible for Myanmar to get the 2-0?
As you highlighted to me right before this started, anything is still possible. We still have to watch out for what kind of things these teams are going to be bringing to the table. But of course, before we move on, we have to remind you that this tournament is, of course, organized by the Vietnam Recreational and Electronic Sports Association, VRESA, in cooperation with VNG Games, the MLBB publisher in Vietnam, and of course, the developers of Mobile Legends Bang Bang themselves, Moonton.
Yep, and all this is currently held at the National Convention Center in Hanoi, Vietnam from 13 to 22nd of May 2022, where 10 medals will be contested in esports, which consists of all 8 games and 10 events. And Mobile Legends Bang Bang team event is one of them, and you guys are back to watch it, and I'm looking forward to see who is going to be your representatives heading in towards the upper brackets. The semi-finals of the next phase. And currently, Team Philippines is 1 game away from securing the #1 spot for Group A.
Yep, that's all they need, really. They just need that 1 win, and we'll see if they can continue to do so. Right now, the team lineup for Philippines is looking very, very strong so far. It consists of Soto, Gonzalez, Villa Luna, Del Rosario, and Imam.
Yep, I'm looking forward to see their performance once again. So far, undefeated throughout day #1 here in the SEA Games itself. Very, very convincing game so far, but can they go the extra mile? Can they get that 1 victory to secure their spot? Because eventually, when they get that job done, they are pretty much #1 for Group A.
Ooh, it's gonna be very interesting to see what they will bring out against Myanmar here. Earlier, we did see Team Philippines swap out a little bit of their lineup, but Myanmar gonna be sticking to the same old players. It's gonna be Black, Oh My Jenny, BS, Gumi, and Benno once again.
Yep. And of course, Team Myanmar, they have had a little bit of warm-up, has showed their hands a little bit more. And Ling is something that is going to be in the ballpark as well. Does Team Philippines respect this, and do they ban it out? That's going to be the way to go. But as of now, this is going to be your rosters for this next upcoming matchup. And I'm looking forward to see who we are going to be supporting. Is it going to be the Philippines, or is it going to be Myanmar? But what I do know is Philippines is the strongest contender coming in the tournament. And I'm looking forward to see how they can do it. But as of now, let's take a look at our talent predictions of what we both think about this matchup. And seems to me, Staffa is going to be believing on the Philippines and me believing on Myanmar.
Yeah, Philippines, well, what can I say? The statistics speak for themselves. Their gameplay speaks for themselves. I have believed in underdog stories throughout the day.
Yep.
But Philippines seems a little bit too strong to not vote for.
I definitely agree, but like I said as well, anything is possible, because technically, all right, if Myanmar gets this 2-0 against Philippines, and in the final game where Malaysia gets the 2-0 against Laos, we are expecting a 3-way tie in Group A.
That would be intense, but I also think that these teams want to try and avoid that situation as much as possible, because it means that they have to come early in the morning, play more games, just to see if they're going through. They want to confirm that now, and they're going to need to really fight hard for it to ensure that they will be moving on to the semi-finals. In Group A, none of the teams have actually confirmed to be moving on just yet, but Team Philippines, all they need is 1 win. They don't even need 2-0. They just need to win once against Myanmar.
Exactly.
And they're confirmed going through.
Agreed. But while that's happening as well, Myanmar is going to be at the mercy of Malaysia when the next match happens, which is after this matchup between both Malaysia and Laos. And of course, if Team Laos decides to tape a game against Malaysia, here we go again. Here we go again. But it all comes down towards the head-to-head. Of course, considering that Team Malaysia does have the 2-0 against Team Myanmar, maybe, you know, things may be considering, you know, in towards Malaysia's favor to make it into the next stage.
If we just base it off of statistics, Team Philippines defeated Malaysia 2-0.
Oh, yeah.
Malaysia defeated Myanmar 2-0. So just based on statistics, Philippines should defeat Myanmar.
Yep.
But this could also be a rock, paper, scissors situation where Myanmar defeats Philippines. So you never really know what's going to happen, especially in MLBB. Teams that feel like they shouldn't be able to perform quite as well may just happen to hold the key to the weakness of a stronger team.
Yep, I definitely agree. It's just so many things to happen and so many things to expect. Expect the unexpected here so far. And we've seen a lot of those games so far throughout the entire game. Xavier being a very, very popular pick. Akai as well, starting to sneak into the meta, especially being played from both Malaysia as well as Philippines. But now, here comes the question. Will Team Myanmar adapt to this? Because Team Philippines, they do like to pick the Akai for themselves, but have they adapted to the Akai at all? Malaysia has brought up to the table. Have they figured something out? Is the Digi the way to go? But as of now, up on screen, we do see Team Philippines as well as Team Myanmar are ready for you guys, and we're looking forward to see and cast this game for you guys as of now.
If we just base off of both these teams' gameplay throughout this day so far, obviously Philippines are still going to be known for their Ube strategy, the ultimate bonding experience still working out very well for their early game team fighting and momentum to bring them to their late game scaling. On the other hand, Team Myanmar plays a more conventional early game aggression style of play. And while it has worked out for them when they went up against Laos, it wasn't quite enough to break through the defenses of Team Malaysia. How well will it fare against the Philippines?
Yep, this is going to be a very, very difficult task coming from Team Philippines as well as Myanmar. But of course, Team Philippines is in a very comfortable position. Like I said as well, one game is all they need, whereas Team Myanmar is looking for that 2-0. A lot is on the line. National pride and glory is going to be factored into this consideration. Who will be the best? As of now, we're going to be heading in towards the drafts momentarily. And this time, who is it going to be? What's going to be the priority? Is it going to be the link? Will Team Philippines test it out and experiment with their drafts?
We already know that on the side of Team Philippines, Albert is very effective with assassin heroes. One of the few players so far to be quite successful with them when everyone else is going for tank junglers at this stage of the meta. So I don't think Team Philippines will shy away from picking up the link if they will be given access to it.
Yep, I definitely agree. Beatrix has been a very, very formidable force, but right from the get-go, Philippines will open up with the Ling ban, respecting how PS was demonstrating early on when they faced off against Malaysia.
In the meantime, Team Myanmar going to be banning out the Valentina. As is usual when you are on the second pick, this is a hero you simply cannot allow through the draft. The question is, what will they do about all of the other more common bans that we are starting to see? The Masha, the Wanwan, the Eve, the Grok, the Hilda. All of these heroes have been commonly targeted by various teams throughout the tournament. So we're definitely getting a bit more of an understanding of our overall SEA Games meta this time.
I definitely agree. Team Myanmar, they do have the tendency to go for that facility. I'm a little bit surprised there is going to be a little bit of a priority difference. Valentina's still going to be the way to go, but Team Myanmar, they're still opting to whether or not they want to deny Team Philippines their comfort picks. But Team Philippines going for the usual bans here, afraid of the Franco, afraid of Ling, nothing else.
Yeah, the 1-1 going to be banned out by Team Myanmar here. I do think that Team Myanmar will just have to focus on getting rid of more meta heroes, because trying to focus down pocket picks for Team Philippines is impossible. They just have too wide of a hero pool to try and focus it down. Some people might say just ban out Villa Luna's heroes so that you can't do the Ube strategy. Well, he just plays a tank and he's perfectly capable of just pulling those off as well.
Yep, and of course, seeing how things are going as of now, I'm looking forward to see how what their priority is, because the 1-1 being taken out means that once again, the Xavier is going to be in the ballpark. Team Philippines, they may not be prioritizing it, but we have seen them bring it out to the table. Eve is something that they have shown to favor a little bit more coming from Team Philippines. So Team Myanmar, do you want to bet it? Are they going to ban the Eve or are they going to ban the Xavier?
It's such a difficult choice to make. They could also make the decision to just let them both through.
Your team
and it
is
does look
picking.
like that is the choice they're going to make. But they ban out the Akai instead. So they're going to be challenging. If you take Xavier, we take Eve, and vice versa.
Yep, it seems like that is going to be the smart play as well, considering that Team Philippines does have a very similar playstyle when it comes to going for the jungle role. Akai jungle was very highly contested. However, Karina is something that I don't think I've seen Team Philippines play throughout the SEA Games so far today. But they can opt to go for it. But it seems like Matilda is going to be the way to go, considering that it was banned in earlier of today. So now they are going to play for the disposition. So this is something that Team Myanmar has to figure out on how to deal with.
Ooh, I like this first pick from Team Philippines. This is a Villa Luna comfort hero. They're very comfortable with playing that Matilda in the early game. And even though, yes, this allows both Xavier and Eve through, they know that, hey, Myanmar is just going to pick one anyway, so we can still lock in the other if we want. And Sicilian is still up for contention. So Philippines don't feel any need to focus down on mage picks too early on.
Agreed. But it seems like the Beatrix from side of Team Myanmar is going to be comfort pick as well. We saw the power of what the Beatrix brought to the table. I'm really surprised that even though it's got a love-hate relationship coming from the marksman department, right? Some teams prioritize the Brody, some teams prioritize the 1-1 a little bit more. But it seems like Beatrix seems to be an okay, decent composition. Team Myanmar, they're going for the Beatrix. However, Team Philippines, they still have the option to go for the Popo and Koopa as a roaming position, or maybe even a marksman if they decide to flex it out. But as of yet, there's just so many variations that Team Philippines may be bringing it out to the table.
In addition to that, we already saw earlier in the day that Gonzalez is capable of playing Grok in the gold lane, which is a hero that would actually hold up quite well against the Beatrix and counter the real-world manipulation. Philippines now just going for a super tanky lineup, locking in the Masha and the Baxia.
All right. I like this. You know, we haven't seen a single Masha so far, and finally it's going to be brought up from side Team Philippines, and it is going to be likely in the XP lane, whereas Team Myanmar, they're not picking the Yuzhong, whereas they are going to pick the Dirov coming in for themselves to be flexed up in terms of the jungle role or potentially the XP lane.
This is most likely going to be a Dirov jungle coming out of Myanmar. We know that PS is very comfortable with this hero, one of his signature pickups, and is a good counter to the Baxia and the Masha as well, thanks to his armor shred. Myanmar now going to be focusing on mage heroes, getting rid of the Sicilian. Wouldn't be surprised if they banned out Xavier after this as well.
Agreed. I'm looking forward to see it come down. Like you said as well, Sicilian is gotta go out of the equation. Yves is something that does not benefit as well as is not too happy about the of the Sicilian, but at the same time, Xavier, like you said as well, is completely ignored by Team Philippines. So I'm a little bit surprised by the play, but there is still a lot of options. Like Khadija Johnson is something that we haven't seen yet so far. Kagura is something that Team Philippines may opt to go for it as well. It's not the worst matchup. But Philippines, they are going to ban off Esmeralda as they don't exactly want the hard matchups against the Masha. I feel like Yu Zhong is a good ban if they want to double down in case Team Myanmar is not picking the Dirov on the XP lane.
This is going to be a Dirov jungle. I'm pretty sure about that. And Philippines, they're thinking the same way as well, which is why they banned out the Esmeralda, because they're concerned that that's going to be their EXP lane instead. A good counter to the Matilda. They don't want to let that through. Myanmar electing to let the Xavier through the draft here. Actually gonna ban out Lilia instead.
Alright, I can see this happening as well. Lilia's has got so much more map control. The Black Shoe can just completely negate the initial burst of the Dirov itself. So forcing the Dirov out of position by Lilia is going to be a very sticky situation. But still, they haven't exactly reviewed the mages yet. They've got so many to work with. And Team Philippines, do they want to double down on the XP lane or even ban out something else, which is going to be the robo position? In this case, what's a annoying roamer that completely messes up the Masha? Hilda's taken out of the equation. Grok completely ignored from both sides. So I feel like, okay, never mind. It's gone. It's gone. Looks like Team Philippines, they don't exactly want to double down on the XP as they take the Grok away.
Yeah, that's going to be locked away from the side of Myanmar. If they still want to go for a frontliner that can set up in terms of CC, we already saw Black play on the Atlas earlier today, and it did work out against Laos. So it could still work out here, but it means that the early game is going to be a little less aggressive, which is something that Myanmar would prefer not to have to deal with. So now the question is going to be, what is their next choice?
What if, and what could? It seems like in Myanmar, they're gonna go for the Hylos, and this, it might be a jungle Hylos if they decide to go for it. But of course, like we said as well, I feel like it's leaning onto the Dirov jungle, but we've seen this happen before in other regions. So I don't know, is the jungle Hylos gonna be able to outmatch a Baxia jungle?
I think in the first few levels, Hylos jungle is better than Baxia jungle, but after that, Baxia just completely outscales it, which is why I think that this is still going to be a Dirov jungle. Philippines going to be finishing off their draft, giving Gonzalez the Claude for late game scaling, and they're going to be playing the Cho as well. Just a very easy way to stop the real world manipulation.
Wait a minute, is this a Mage Matilda coming from Team Philippines? It is most likely going to be a Mage Matilda if this is going to be the pickup, and seems like they might actually bring the Cho as a tank position, XP perhaps? I don't know, is this a jungle box here? Okay, it's definitely a jungle box here, right?
This is quite interesting, yeah. I think this definitely is a jungle Baxia, and then I think a Matilda Mage is probably the case, so it's going to be either the Cho or the Masha Roam and EXP. Myanmar finishing off their draft with the export to deal with the tankier heroes on the side of Team Philippines.
Alright, it's very, very flexible coming from Team Myanmar as well. This might be a jungle export, might be a jungle Dirov. There's just so many possibilities coming from Myanmar to flex up their pool, but let's talk about the matchup. An export versus a Masha. Is it an ideal one? I feel like export is gonna be doing okay against a Masha if it's gonna be an XP lane.
Export should be able to hold his own against a Masha in the EXP lane, but even though the hero counteracts tankier heroes, it's still quite difficult to break through Masha's 3 HP bars. So hopefully it's gonna be enough for Myanmar, because they're the type of team that wants to snowball off that early game. And Philippines so far has been an unstoppable force with their mechanical gameplay and disciplined decision-making. The Land of Dawn beckons once again as we bear witness to this first match between these two teams.
Yep, this is going to be game 8 of day number 1 in the group stages as well, especially for group number A, as we have seen a lot of variations of compositions and adaptations, but we are going to see a very early invade coming from Black as Team Myanmar is going to go in for the harassment. Meanwhile, on the other side as well, this is going to be the Dirov jungle coming in from Myanmar.
Yeah, that's confirmed. It's a hero that PS is very comfortable with, and we can see that Vela Luna as well as Imam doing a lot of that. Oh, Black! He's gonna get taken out here.
Dead.
Will he get out of this? I don't think
he's dead.
so.
There's no way he survives this. Yeah, that's gonna be an easy kill coming from Del Rosario, who's expecting to get a little bit more benefit in terms of damage output, but you need to remind you, once the Hylos does not have the mana, he is gonna be chipping on his health for the spells itself. Meanwhile, down to the top side, Gumi winning the trade against the Claude itself. That means Team Myanmar is having a very, very much good time on the gold lane.
I can see as well, Del Rosario is just straight up invading the enemy jungle because he knows that he's way stronger at this stage of the game and can just steal jungle camps away alongside help from both Imam and Vela Luna. We can see as well that Imam and Vela Luna are going to be swapping up their positions here today, with Vela Luna playing the mid lane and Imam going on the roamer position instead.
Well, tough games coming from both sides, and Team Philippines seems like they will get the 1 kill, but it's still anyone's game. Gumi gonna be chipping away at the gold platings. Meanwhile, bottom side, Soto is trying his best to scale a little bit more. And as of yet, I'm a little bit curious on what Soto is gonna be building up on the Smasha. Is it gonna go full tank or is it gonna go full damage? Because as of that, what I do know is the Sky God Inhabit's base health will scale really, really hard in ultimate. But it seems like Team Philippines, they are gonna be forcing a fight. The Team Black gets completely focused down, and that's gonna be Philippines getting another kill in the bag.
Myanmar now gonna be re-engaging PS on top of Imam, but he is absolutely fine. Deno right inside the turtle pit. Real manipulation brought down by Oh My Jenny and the last insanity, but it's not enough to stop Del Rosario from getting the turtle with the retribution.
Yep, very, very nicely done coming from Timber Leans. And just like that, they get the turtle, they get lane control, they got more priority. Gonzalez getting a little bit greedy with a blazing duet. Seems to be able to do so, gets the minion wave, but at the same time, will get the crab. But who's gonna get it? Gonzalez? Yep, it is gonna be Gonzalez instead over Del Rosario.
Philippines are definitely going to be focusing on giving Gonzalez as much farm as possible because this Claude is going to be their late game win condition and they want him to be able to farm as quickly as they can. It's for that reason that they do have Avarice, but Way of the Dragon gonna be finding Oh My Jenny in the mid lane. Purify will keep him alive, but the Circling Eagle finishes him off. This Mage Matilda doing a lot of damage, and now Del Rosario gonna force out Black's glorious pathway.
Yep, did not expect it at all coming from Villa Luna, but it actually works in his favor, and it's definitely the right call. But let's take a look at the items real quick as well. Seems like it is gonna be the Enchanted Talisman coming full.